Hello everyone, welcome back to Base Damage. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be taking a look at what happened in Rosemont. We are now officially in the Weiss Schwarz 2025-2026 Championship Series. So the only one that's happened so far as of the recording of this is Rosemont. And we literally have like a month difference from when Rosemont happened 2 weeks ago, near about, about another two weeks and some change before we even get Mexico City being the next one. Now, not all the decks are posted up here just yet, but I did want to go over what we currently have, because I do feel there's a lot to talk about. And the first thing I do feel that needs to be talked about is a little bit of a reminder on what was restricted back in August. The last 6 regionals for teams had to be under effect of this particular restricted list update. So I did want to go over that because with teams you can get kind of a feel for how restricted list updates do impact the meta and what all is happening, but you get a much more accurate representation during singles. So I figured this is a worthy reminder of what all people are having to play under. The first and foremost, like even though it still got hit, it still got represented a whole bunch in teams, even in the last 6, was Bunny Girl Senpai. And I know it is really hard to see this because the restricted page is so freaking small here, but the level 3 Mai that got restricted to 2 copies. And despite that, we still saw a very nice showing of it in teams, but we'll see how that is going forward. Moving on, one of the biggest ones that I don't think a lot of people had on their bingo card was the Elizabeth Brainstormer. It's also the main climax combo of the various Deadly Sins things that you've seen, especially involving Hendrickson. Like, they would run this combo and Hendrickson, and they would just go to town. But despite that, for some reason during teams, the Hendrickson list kind of dropped off in popularity, and people were running Escanor. And that kind of surprised me. So I do feel that is worth mentioning and talking about. So moving on, Nino Quint's got another restricted list update, and this does vary from the Japanese side a little bit, where this particular level 3 right here instead in JP was restricted to 2 copies, whereas the Bunny Girl Senpai matched. The Bunny Girl Senpai is also restricted to 2 copies, if I'm not mistaken, on the JP side. If I'm wrong, I'm very sorry. Just forgive me. I don't keep up with JP but so much. But this particular level 3 was only limited to 2 copies, and it was a pick 1 of 4, where the Foolish Burial Nino got added, basically letting you pitch your standby targets and then just outright summon them. It's kind of crazy. Instead, we got a now pick 1 of 5 list with all the previous existing cards, these 3, in addition to the level 3. Just like, you just can't even run it on the same, instead of like running 2 copies of it. They're just like, we just don't want to deal with it. So just saying, that's kind of a big thing for Quints, but there's other Quints decks that I feel are going to show up over the course of this particular singles season, I guess you could call it. Data Live was the next one that got a change, and it was unrestricted from the pick 1 of 2 list. The level 3 Kurumi is still only you can run at 2 copies, but the Yoshino and the Toka Brainstormer both got taken off. You can run them in the same deck. As to whether that's going to impact anything or not is up for debate. I know one of the more dedicated Data Life players was saying in the Discord that it really doesn't change a whole lot, but it's let's see how things go. I would love for Data Live to have more representation, most definitely. But the Kurumi level 3 is still limited to 2. And lastly, Kaguya-sama is just no longer on the restricted list. It is just completely and totally taken off, and that is still loading despite having been several minutes. That's just how bad my internet is, folks. And but these particular cards were taken off, so obviously I would also love to see some Kaguya-sama up there as well. So with that being said, let's get over here to Rosemont. Now, we do have several cool things. I will be going to Duluth in January, just totally, absolutely going to that. I want to go. Very much wanting to see how that goes, especially with the content creator program and stuff like that coming up as well. Hopefully we get more people reporting on some of these regionals. That would be really cool. So if you do, please hit me up. I would love to chat with you about the content creation stuff. So with Rosemont, and Rosemont is always one of our big ones. I'm going to move my head over just a smidgen. Rosemont is always one of our bigger showings. 201 players. That is massive. That is really, really cool. That's one of the biggest ones we've had in a hot minute, and I think that's great. So, give yourself a freaking pat on the back, Weiss players. I would love to just see like all the Vanguard players going, holy shit, where the hell did they come from, type thing. So, this is going to be very telling because, as I just showed you with the restricted list, there was a lot of things not up there. The biggest one, in my opinion, being what won first place, and that is Nikkei with Modernia Biscuit. Nikkei got no hits whatsoever. It is still, as of the recording of this and as of the posting of this video, completely and totally unrestricted. So we can only imagine how that's going to go moving forward. And there is another Nikkei deck up here. I don't know if it's Modernia Biscuit. There's multiple different builds you can do with Nikkei. So until they start doing some kind of hits, like you're going to see a variety of stuff, which is kind of nice. It's not all focused on just one or the other. But Modernia Biscuit is the bigger top end, and I will show that in just a moment here. So as we stated, Bunny Girl Senpai still has a representation, it looks like. So I only see the one, SBY being the Bunny Girl Senpai. So 8-door combo is the Mai, absolutely. So people are still running it. And this was the next biggest one I think people were going to be talking about is Bang Dream. So 3rd, 4th, and 5th place respectively are all Bang Dream, utilizing the new cards from the My Go and Ave Musica set. And the funny thing is, each of these have a different finisher. Like during teams, you would see a lot of this one, the Oblivionis Dolores, and closer to the end, you saw a lot of the Tomari double rare, which is really, really cool. And I love to see the Bang Dream stuff. I love the shows for them. My Go and Ave Musica were amazing shows to watch. I absolutely love them. But it's kind of crazy. Like I'll set the on combo. We definitely want to take a look at that in a moment here. I do feel these are going to be the two biggest sets to keep an eye out for, being Nikkei and Bang Dream. I know there's a lot of people who said they just didn't like the Bang Dream matchup because it was boring. And I'm assuming that's just because there's like next to no interaction or something. I'm not certain what they mean by that. If they mean there's zero interaction, it's kind of the same way back with like the Elizabeth Hendrickson decks. The Elizabeth Hendrickson decks did not care what your opponent did in any capacity. They were going to do their thing and kill you no matter, like, regardless of what you did. Whether you had a full field of hexproof like Slime, whether you had like negative soul, whether you had all this other stuff, it really didn't matter. Like, they were going to do their game plan and they were just going to go about it. So I'm wondering if that's the same vibe people are getting from the Bang Dream setups, or like maybe just the Oblivion's Dolores one. I don't know. If they feel that, like, I'm not kidding when I say that was the term that I've been told the most. Like, oh, it's so boring to play against. And I'm like, really? I have no clue because I've not played against one of these just yet. I don't know what they find boring about it, like boring playing against it. If it is the non-interaction, we've had that with other decks. But I've never heard those other decks, like the Seven Deadly Sins, I've never heard those be called boring. I've just heard those be called, oh dear God, why am I playing against Hendrickson? It was more fearful than boredom, like, put it that way. So I do want to talk about those in a moment here. So let's look at the Modernia Biscuit one really quickly. Obviously, the Biscuit, people are only running like 2 copies of. It is a very, very good early play target with your standby shenanigans. You can attack and pay a cost to heal. You can attack with the Climax combo to basically pull a last shot scene on. Pay 1, pitch 1, burn 4. Kind of nuts. You have all these other different cards. Like, honestly, the biggest finisher of the entire deck, people joke, is the level 3 Alice early play, because you can just keep like getting rid of all of your opponent's cards. Whenever it reverses one of your opponent's cards, your turn or their turn, you get to send that character to the top of your opponent's deck. Meaning you can really just very nice removal. You can disrupt their plays. You can change numbers on field very, very easily. On top of healing, really good. Heals to hand. Then the other one, my brain, Modernia. I don't know why I couldn't find her just now. The level 1 Modernia with salvaging back for its Climax combo, as well as generating stock for the Climax combo, and several cards to very, very easily make it so that you can get that extra stock, which is kind of nuts. On top of the deck is able to very easily run into this tap counter event. So I mean, yeah, if they got hexproof, you got to worry about it. But the main deck that was like hexproof shenanigans was slime, and people just aren't really running that. But you know, I say that with like, even in teams, there wasn't that many slime instances. But in the top 16, there is a singular slime deck, which wasn't what the meta was like several months ago, before the hit to slime. Even though I feel the hit to slime was minimal, people still were like, fuck it, there's too many hits, I'm going to move on to something else. And why not? Why not move on to Nikke or Bang Dream, stuff that is unrestricted, you know? So it's understandable there. So we're going to see a lot of this. We're going to see Modernia Biscuit a lot, so you might as well get used to seeing this name pop up a whole bunch. So the Oblivionis Dolores is the next one that I do want to talk about, because I do feel that was the highest representation for teams in general. And we will continue going back to the breakdown, because I see some funny stuff up here that I definitely want to mention and give shout outs to. But the Dolores level 3 combo in particular was this one that could bounce a cancel burn to other characters, and the effect that gets bounced could then proceed to continue bouncing. What do they say? Insert the Henya bounce on it dial. But and then the particular Oblivionis effect, the level 1 combo, is just on attack, top check 4, add a music character to hand, or into your stock. If you put the card into your stock, you get an extra 1,000 power, which is kind of interesting because you can make it so, oh cool, let me just gain extra stock instead of like adding too much to my hand and then not have to discard at end of turn. It just feels a little bit more comfy that way. I can understand why people do this one. The only thing is you have a lot of cards to run from like the first couple sets. Like this Arisa, I know, is like stupid expensive for some reason. At least it was. I mean, obviously because that was the SP. But just in general, I think that level 3 got upwards of like $30 to $40 at one point. It's kind of crazy. I sold one. That's why. Anyway, so moving on, like obviously love me some Nyamu. We need more Nyamu in our lives. Let's be real. And I was also just really gorgeous here with like the Secret Rare Plus. Sorry, just had to mention that for a minute here. So you're going to see this a lot in general. We can get into like a bigger deck breakdown maybe in the future with somebody. There's several people that I would like to bring on and to discuss this depending on their work schedules. So we will have to see how that is. I do want to see what the Anon thing is, and the Tomori we can discuss another day. I'm not particularly worried about that one. Oh, it's this. Okay, it's this one. This is really funny where it can just keep restanding and changing places on stage. And I've seen some very, very consistent combos. I'm not going to get into the crazy combos right now. Once again, I would love to do breakdowns of these particular decks a bit more in the future. And it's just really crazy where this Tomori can basically just clock shoot all of your opponent's characters. And I'm not kidding when I say that. It's really, really funny how you can set this up. And from what I've been told, extremely consistently. Like, it's kind of nuts. Maybe it's just luck. Once again, the Arisa. But the Bang Dream My Ghost set got so many different finishers. Like I said, 3 different finishers right here for 3 different decks. Like I just said. Now, the only one that I'm actually very curious on here is the Slime deck. Because that and obviously the Nikke deck down here, we don't know what it was. Because, like, say for Hololive, some Marine top end, probably. I don't know. I'll double check back in the future. Bochi the Glock, we basically know kind of the different setups for those as well. And even further down, you see more Bang Dream. Shakugan no Shana, you can very easily figure out what the top end, what everything is going to be for that. There's not that much variation. But Nikke has a lot of different deck setups. And Slime, even with the restricted list, did have, I want to say, about 3 or 4 different deck setups. Depending on what people just wanted flavor-wise. Basically, pick your cup of tea in terms of what you want to play. There were so many different variations on it. So that is one of those ones I kind of want to know what the variation was on it. So we will come back to this another day. Like I said, it's going to be several weeks before even the next one. So I feel we could do plenty of like deck breakdowns and stuff like that prior to that. Let's move on. I do like this one. The Rurouni Kenshin 8 choice. I want to look at this one because I think that involves Yahiko, which is just hilarious. Followed by AOT, Mikasa, and Levi. I kind of want to know how much of this involves the final season cards. I think that would be crazy. Review Starlight, Pants Door, really cool. Bochi the Glock, we probably know the combos that they were on. The level 1 Bochi, the level 3 of the Marine clone, I can't remember her name. Overlord Doorbar, oh how the mighty have fallen. Well, see what I'm saying? Bang Dream, Oblivionis Dolores. some kind of Hololive deck, probably with modding, who knows. Or I'm really liking the level 3 Aqua top end. That's just me personally. Shakugan Ashana and some flavor of Nikke. Now let's talk about this real quick. Whatever the Roni Kenshin 8-door. Okay, so it was with this particular level 2 Yahiko. That is a 2-0. You are reading that correctly. This thing can get really big. With the climax, it's a 10k by itself, and on reverse of the battle opponent, burn 1. So it's just really funny how that's just so free. What is the other choice? So the other choice is just the level 1 combo to get out. No. What one's sword bears is that one. What's the other one? Is this one? It's the level 0. Okay, when wanting the strength to protect, displace in your comics area, if you 2 or more other Meiji characters, choose one of your characters. That character gets the following ability. When this card's battle opponent becomes reverse, search your deck for a Meiji character. Okay, so it just gives a on reverse search to somebody, but you can give it to your biggest people. These free, 2-0 characters that just get huge, you can just give it to the Aikos or whatever you want to give it to. It's whatever. And it's when the battle opponent becomes reversed. So if you did have like a level 1 reverser, like a cost 0 reverser, any reversers, quote unquote, still fall under that category of, as long as it doesn't bomb them. If it is just a reverser, then you still get that effect. You still get this effect, to my knowledge. So, and the other is an act to check the top 3. Really cool. But yeah, I really like seeing the Kenshin decks here, especially my boy Yahiko. That's so cool. I love to see that. Okay, so this does have, so that going on to the AOT deck, this has a mix. It has stuff, obviously, you got to use Resisting Fate Armin. The OG, like, we're going to give shit hexproof, and it itself has hexproof. Like, this is the staple card of, like, if you thought, like, I mean, which Muron and the whole the Shuna combo was very annoying to give it the whole field hexproof. But this was one of the first instances of people just going, well, just fuck me in the ass sideways, right? There's a lot of older stuff that I am seeing, but I will say there's more new stuff. So it feels like it leans more heavily towards the final season cards, which is understandable, more up to date stuff. But it still does use like a couple old cards. So the Mikasa is this particular level 1 top check for add a character or new omnidirectional mobility gear. You can't add the originals. Sorry, Riaz. You have to use the new one, which we'll talk about in a second here. Put the rest in the waiting room, and this gets extra power. Understandable, like just honestly very solid. And then the level 3. When this card's battle opponent becomes reversed if Deep Grudge is in your climax area. Pay 2, pitch 2. Put that character into your opponent's clock and deal 2 damage. Okay, kind of cool there. It gets bigger, gets bigger to fulfill the reverse conditions and stuff. So, and obviously, let's just give this thing like a free 2k and hexproof. Just absolutely destroy stuff. That's funny. The new because there was 2 different omnidirectional mobility gears, or anti-Titan mobility device. It was a different name. Totally, I believe it was a different name. Obviously, there's new in the title, but that's whatever. Waiting room is 2 or more climax. Choose one of the you have to have 2 or more climaxes even on your opponent's turn to do this. That's so dumb. Anyway, choose up to one of your core characters in battle, return it to your hand. Choose up to one character in your waiting room, return it to your hand, and choose one card in your hand, put it in the waiting room. Okay, so it's basically a grab 2 cards back to hand, and then you're discarding this card and then discarding an additional card. So you're just kind of filtering at that point. Okay. The other effect is choose one of your core characters in battle, move it to an open position of your stage, choose it to one core character in your waiting room, return it to your hand. Oh, okay, so you can still just salvage something basically for free. It's still a 1-for-1 in that regard, but then you can still move stuff. You got options. I do like this. I do like this a lot. You could use that for a lot of different things. Wait, does it specify? It just says you could run this with the older combos in terms of, well, you couldn't get the cards you couldn't get this card off of those other combos in AOT. Anyway, different topics for different days. But no, really cool there. Really love to see all of the representation here. Even like older sets and whatnot. I love to see the Review Starlight. Maybe that was Ben. I don't know if that's Jazzy from Refresh Point. Hey, man, I'm glad to see you topping, man. That's really cool. I keep kicking ass. He is going at it. Man's is determined, and I respect the hell out of him for that. 1,000%. No sarcasm. Like a really, really cool guy. that is going to be it for us today. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you to all 200 players for showing up to this event in Rosemont. If you showed up for this, if you topped, if you competed, if you had some fun, feel free to comment down below. Let us know where you topped, what you were playing, maybe your own personal record, whatever you feel you want to comment down below. It'd be greatly appreciated. I definitely want to see people's journeys and stories and stuff like that leading into this particular championship series. I do hope people have fun, because I very, very much want to see how well this does going into this new year and everything, and see how people enjoy themselves with this. So obviously we got a ways from the time that this comes out. Mexico City is November 9th. So good luck to everybody traveling as well to Mexico for this. Like, if you're traveling, even if you're just locals going to it, good luck, and I hope y'all have a wonderful time. And that is going to be it for us today. Feel free to do, all the cringy YouTuber shenanigans, like, comment, subscribe, all that. And we will see y'all another day with more of a tournament report to show. And stay safe and stay based.